My name is Amanda, and Matt did my bridal portraits and was my wedding photographer. I started off online looking for a photographer like everyone else, and I was really impressed with Matt's website. I thought that the quality of his photos looked like what I was looking for. They were outstanding. And then obviously my next question was, is Matt in my budget? And he was. So I set up a meeting with him. My husband and I actually both met with him, and I felt that Matt was such a professional person. To me, photography was the most important part of my wedding day. I told my husband in advance that he could put a price limit and a limit on anything else he wanted, but photography was what I was most excited about because I knew that pictures were something that I would treasure forever and that everyone would enjoy seeing for a long time to come. I loved my bridal portraits. I really felt that Matt incorporated my personality, but also gave me a good sense of direction for how to pose. And I just really loved them. After that bridal portrait session, I was so happy that I had picked Matt. And then come my wedding day, I knew it was going to be a great day as far as photography because Matt was at the church before any of us were even there. My favorite picture series is of mine and my husband's first look. It's such an emotional time because I can see the nervousness on my husband's face as he's walking down to meet me, and then him standing with his back to me, waiting for me to let him know that I'm there. Then as I put my hand on his shoulder, he peeks out of the corner of his eye, and it's the first time we see one another that day. And as we turn around, all of this is being captured. Our first look, us cheesing because we're so happy to see one another, and then our first embrace. It was so natural, so comfortable, and Matt was able to capture all the emotions on our faces. After the first look session, we were able to do all of our wedding party, and I loved the way that Matt set us up differently from just being in a straight line. We had so many awesome poses of just having fun with our arms in the air, and after we were done with that, my husband had a chance to do some individual portraits. And I'm a little biased because he's my husband, but I thought he was so handsome. I really thought he looked like a model, and I treasured those pictures of him. And then afterwards, the reception was amazing. We had such a fun time, and Matt captured all of that. We got so many pictures with our friends and family that everyone really appreciated us having. And then the quality of the photos, he got all the action shots, like the cake shot in the face that we did. And then also us throwing the bouquet, and my mom, my aunt, and my grandma are all in the one picture as my grandma catches the bouquet, and it is just pure joy on their faces. And from my friend's standpoint, there is an amazing picture of me looking up at the camera. It's an overhead shot. How Matt got up there, I don't know, but it's an overhead shot capturing all of us smiling and dancing, and it really just signified the happiness and the fun that we had on our wedding day. My friends loved that we got so many pictures together as individuals, but as groups too. And there were so many questions like, how did he get that shot? I don't even remember him being there. It was like he was an invisible person, but still was able to capture everything throughout the day. My most memorable experience of having Matt at my wedding actually doesn't even have anything to do with photography, as crazy as that sounds. I remember from my wedding day, the only thing that went wrong that whole day was when my wedding party wanted to come into the reception. My husband and I are huge Gamecock fans, and we wanted to come into 2001. And when it came time to do that, there was a delay, and I found out later that my DJ did not have 2001, even though I had requested this in advance. And obviously I was freaking out as the bride, didn't know what we should come out to. And here comes Matt with his iPhone, being the Carolina fan that he is. He had 2001 on his phone, gave it to my DJ. We were able to walk into 2001 as I had planned, and I really just felt like Matt had told me that things could go wrong during the wedding day, but it would be okay, we could get through it. Little did I know that Matt was going to be the one to get me through it. As I've gone through this whole wedding planning process and had my wedding, I can truly say that my photography was the easiest thing. It was the least worrisome part of my wedding day. And even after my wedding, I've been in touch with Matt to get a wedding album made, and I love my wedding album. It is amazing. I really appreciated getting all my images on a disc because it made me feel secure about doing whatever I wanted to with those images. But it was so important to me to get a wedding album. My husband and I actually did it a year after we got married. We told Matt that we were probably gonna have to wait to get the album, and he saved our images and allowed us to do that. And it has been such a pleasure for me to have it because I have it sitting on one of the shelves in my living room. And every time we have guests over, they're drawn to it. The cover is kind of a metallic reflective material, and everybody thinks it's the neatest thing, and they're drawn to that album. And everyone wants to see the wedding album when they come in. And I just know that when I have that wedding album, if something happens to that disc, I'll still always have the hard copy of those images to show my friends and family. So the album is something that was a must for me. To recommend Matt Brody as a photographer is so easy because I know that the quality of my photos are great because every time I look through my wedding photos, which is pretty often, I always find myself smiling throughout them because I just can put myself back into that day and really feel all the emotions that we felt that day. And the photos are just something that I can treasure, and I look forward to letting my kids see those photos. And I don't think it could have been any easier. Matt was such a flexible photographer as far as our scheduling was concerned, letting me do the poses that I wanted, but also really putting some input that went along with our idea of how our photography should be. I really appreciated his professionalism and just being there, not only as a photographer, but he more felt like a friend.